What if I told you a black man in America earns $40 million a year, and he once panicked because he lost a coupon for chicken wings? What if I told you another black athlete is worth over $1 billion, and he refuses to pay $12 a month for Spotify because the free version with ads is good enough? These are not struggling rookies. These are superstars with hundreds of millions in their bank accounts, and they live like the money never arrived. Here is a fact that will disturb you. More than 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years of retirement, and the numbers are worse for black players. They face pressures that most athletes never experience. Family members who need help immediately. Communities that expect giving back constantly. Financial advisors who see young black wealth as easy prey. Childhood friends who remember when you had nothing and expect you to share everything. The average black NBA player supports more family members financially than any other demographic in professional sports. Studies show they give away more money to extended relatives than white players with identical salaries. This is not a flaw. It is love expressed through generosity. But it is also a trap that has destroyed countless fortunes. The 10 players in this video broke that cycle. They found a way to love their families without losing themselves. They have the money. They just refuse to spend it on things that do not matter. No mansion when an apartment works. No new car when the old one still runs. No entourage when solitude builds focus. One drove a truck worth $1,100. One worked at Wendy's during the off-season. One lives on $5,000 a month while earning millions. By the end of this video, you will understand why these black athletes chose poverty aesthetics over wealth performance, and why that choice made them richer than everyone who laughed at them. Let us start with number 10, Kawhi Leonard. This man earns over $40 million every single year. His net worth exceeds $80 million. He has signed contracts worth hundreds of millions across his career. And he drives a truck worth $1,150, a 1997 Chevy Tahoe that he bought as a teenager. He drove it through high school, through college, and 8 years into his NBA career. The paint is faded. The engine burns through gas like it hates money. His teammates called it gas guzzler. When people asked why he still drives it, his answer was simple. It runs. It is paid off. But here is what most people do not know about Kawhi. When he was 16 years old, his father Mark was shot and killed at his car wash in Compton. The case remains unsolved to this day. No arrest, no justice, just silence. Kawhi watched his family navigate grief while managing his father's small business. He saw what happens when money is spent instead of saved. He saw what happens when a provider disappears and there is nothing left behind. That memory lives inside every financial decision he makes. Every dollar saved is a promise to his father's memory. One day, Kawhi lost his Wingstop coupon book. Free coupons from his sponsor for discounted chicken wings. And this man who just signed a multi-million-dollar contract genuinely panicked. He searched everywhere. He called people. He was stressed until his sponsor sent a replacement. His teammates confirmed this actually happened. A man worth $80 million worried about losing coupons for chicken. To outsiders, it looks absurd. To Kawhi, it is survival encoded into his nervous system. The coupons represent something bigger than free food. They represent control over small things when large things were taken from him. He also lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in San Diego during summers. Not a mansion, not a penthouse, just a simple apartment with basic furniture. Because for a black man who lost his father to street violence, money is not for showing off. It is for making sure his family never feels that vulnerability again. It is for building a wall that tragedy cannot climb over. Number 9, LeBron James. This man earns nearly $89 million every single year. He is basketball's first billionaire athlete. The first player in NBA history to cross $1 billion while still playing. He owns Spring Hill Company, a production empire. He owns a stake in Liverpool Football Club worth hundreds of millions. He owns real estate across America that appreciates while he sleeps. He is one of the wealthiest athletes in human history, and he will not pay for Spotify. LeBron uses the free version of Pandora with ads between every few songs. He sits through commercials for products he could buy 1,000 times over. He listens to the ads instead of paying $12 a month for ad-free music. He refuses to pay for mobile data on his phone. When there is no Wi-Fi, he simply does not use the internet. A man who earns more per hour than most people earn in a year waits for Wi-Fi like a college student at Starbucks. His teammates found out and gave him a nickname: the cheapest guy in the NBA. Now here is where most people misunderstand LeBron completely. He is not cheap about everything. He spends over $1.5 million annually on his body, personal trainers, cryotherapy chambers, hyperbaric recovery, massage therapists, personal chefs for nutrition. He bought his mother Gloria a mansion the moment he could afford it. He built an entire school for underprivileged kids in Akron. The I Promise School that provides free education, meals, and support to hundreds of children. So why does a billionaire refuse to pay for a music subscription? Because LeBron grew up in Akron, Ohio, with a single mother who moved them between apartments constantly. Sometimes they stayed with friends, sometimes they had nowhere to go. He remembers what it feels like when money disappears on things that do not matter. He remembers watching his mother count coins for groceries. That memory never left. Every dollar spent on convenience is a dollar that cannot build something permanent. Data plans do not build value. Spotify subscriptions do not build value. But businesses, real estate, and equity stakes grow forever. The discipline with small things is exactly what made the billion-dollar portfolio possible. He pinches pennies on subscriptions so he can spend millions on things that multiply. Number 8. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He signed a 5-year contract worth $228 million. The largest contract in NBA history at the time of signing. 2-time MVP, Finals MVP, NBA champion. One of the most dominant players of his generation. And he was spotted bargain shopping in a discount store in New York City. Literally negotiating prices with employees like someone stretching a tight budget. Asking for discounts on items that cost a few dollars. But this makes complete sense when you understand where Giannis came from. He grew up in Athens, Greece, the son of Nigerian immigrants who sold goods on the street to survive. His parents, Charles and Veronica, fled Nigeria with almost nothing. They arrived in Greece and found a country that did not want them. His family lived without legal status for years, in constant fear of deportation. Black, undocumented, poor. 3 strikes in a country that saw them as outsiders. Any day could have been the day police came to send them back. When Giannis was 15, he and his brother Thanasis shared a single pair of basketball shoes. They took turns wearing them. One brother would practice while the other watched barefoot. Then they would switch. They walked to school together and decided who needed the shoes more that day. When you have shared shoes with your brother because your family could only afford one pair, a discount store feels like abundance. Every negotiated dollar feels like victory. Early in his career, Giannis lived on $190 per day. He sent everything else to his family in Greece. No designer clothes, no jewelry, no flashy cars. Every dollar saved was a dollar that reached home. His brothers, his mother, the people who sacrificed everything for him. But here's the story that reveals everything about who this man really is. Before he had a car, Giannis would jog to games, run through the streets of Milwaukee to reach the arena, in the cold, in the rain, through traffic, because spending money on a cab felt unnecessary when he had working legs. A fan once recognized him mid-jog and pulled over to give him a ride. The NBA's highest paid player once jogged to work to save a few dollars. His teammate Drew Holiday called him the cheapest guy I know. Giannis openly admits it without shame. I am cheap for myself, but generous to others. A black immigrant who remembers having nothing now has more than he ever imagined. And he refuses to forget where he started, because forgetting would be a betrayal of everyone who carried him here. Number 7. Tim Duncan. He earned over $242 million during his Hall of Fame career. 5 championships, 2 MVP awards, 14 All-Star appearances. Arguably the greatest power forward in NBA history. And his favorite shopping spot was Costco. He drove himself there in an old Porsche 911 that he kept for years. Not the latest model, not updated every season. The same car, maintained and driven with care. While teammates cycled through multiple luxury vehicles every year, Tim kept his. Tim Duncan grew up in the U.S. Virgin Islands, dreaming of becoming an Olympic swimmer. His mother, Ione, was his biggest supporter. She drove him to practice every day and believed in his future. Then she died of breast cancer when Tim was 14. The same year, Hurricane Hugo destroyed the island's only Olympic-sized pool. His mother gone, his dream gone. Everything changed in 1 year. That double tragedy pushed him toward basketball almost by accident. A childhood where everything could change suddenly taught him something important. Never build your life around things that circumstances can take away. As a black man from a small island who lost everything once, Tim understood what mainland players often missed. Wealth is fragile, status is borrowed. Only discipline is permanent. He cooked his own meals every day. Ribs, steak, chicken. No personal chef. No fancy restaurants. Just a man who enjoyed making his own food in his own kitchen. He appeared in H-E-B grocery store commercials with his teammates. A regional Texas supermarket chain, not a luxury brand, not a national campaign, just a local grocery store that matched who he actually was. No entourage, no yacht, no private island, just a man who won championships, went to Costco, and went home to cook dinner. His teammates called him unassuming. His coaches called him the foundation. Everyone who knew him called him different. Number 6. Carmelo Anthony. He earned over $260 million in NBA salary, one of the highest career earnings in basketball history. Add tens of millions more from Jordan brand and endorsements. This man has made more money than most families see across multiple generations. And on Sunday mornings, Carmelo opens the newspaper. He finds the coupon section, and he tears out coupons for his grocery shopping, carefully, deliberately, like his mother taught him. This makes perfect sense when you know where he came from. Carmelo grew up in the Red Hook projects in Brooklyn and the Murphy Homes projects in Baltimore, some of the toughest neighborhoods in America, places where gunshots were background noise and survival was a daily accomplishment. He watched his mother Mary stretch every dollar to feed the family. He saw her clip coupons from newspapers spread across the kitchen table. He saw what it meant when there was never enough, the anxiety of empty refrigerators, the creativity required to make food last. In 2011, he told CBS Denver something that shocked everyone. "I go to the supermarket, make sure I get the newspaper and tear the coupons out. Save $1 or $2. I have got the paper open with coupons, ripping them. I am human too." He said it without embarrassment, without irony, without trying to be relatable. Just a man explaining what he does because it is who he is. A black man from the projects who made it to the top of his profession. Still clipping coupons like his mother taught him. The discipline to save $2 on groceries is connected to the discipline that manages million-dollar decisions. The coupon habit is not about the money. It is about the values that money cannot change. It is about never forgetting where you come from. Number 5. Jimmy Butler. He earns over $45 million every single year. 6-time All-Star, NBA Finals veteran, one of the most competitive players in the league, and he cut his cable and his internet on purpose while earning $45 million a year. This sounds crazy until you understand where Jimmy came from. When he was a teenager, his mother Londa told him he could no longer live in her home. She looked at her own son and told him to leave. He became homeless. At the age when most kids worry about homework and friends, Jimmy was sleeping on different couches every week. A black kid in Tomball, Texas, with nowhere to go. No family support, no safety net, no guarantee of tomorrow. A family from his high school, the Lamberts, took him in and treated him like their own son. They gave him stability when his own blood would not. He worked, he played basketball, and he made a decision. He would build a life that never depended on anyone else ever again. When you have been homeless as a teenager, cutting cable is not a sacrifice. It is a reminder that you survived without luxuries before. You can survive without them now. But Jimmy had another reason for cutting cable and internet. Distraction. Every hour watching TV was an hour not spent in the gym. Every streaming service was a temptation pulling him away from training. Every notification was noise interrupting his focus. So he removed them all. Without Netflix to browse at night, the default activity became sleep. Or going back to the gym for a third session. Jimmy practices up to 3 times a day. He arrives before everyone else and leaves after everyone is gone. His philosophy is simple and non-negotiable. Do not buy what you do not need. Do not spend more than something is worth just because you can. The cut cable did not just save money. It made him a better basketball player. It made him the person his mother thought he would never become. Number 4. Trey Burke. He earned over $2.5 million every year during his NBA career. Most players at his level would see that salary as permission to upgrade everything. Better apartment, better car, better restaurants. But Trey Burke did something completely different. He set a monthly spending limit of $5,000, and he stuck to it with military discipline. At $2.5 million per year, that is roughly $200,000 per month before taxes. His $5,000 budget was only 2.5% of what he earned. He was saving over 97% of his income. When he went over budget one month, he did not just forget about it. He cut back the next month to make up for it. He tracked everything. He lived in an apartment with a childhood friend and split the bills. He drove a basic Chevy Tahoe with no luxury features. He cooked his own meals and ate at Chipotle when he went out. The average NBA career lasts only 4.5 years. Most players spend those years living like the money will never stop. Burke understood that his paycheck was not a lifestyle upgrade. It was a short window to build wealth that would last forever. A young black man who understood mathematics over materialism, numbers over noise, discipline over display. Number 3, Andre Iguodala. He earned over $188 million during his 19-year career. But unlike most NBA stars, Andre did not spend his money on jewelry, cars, and mansions. He invested in tech startups. Over 25 companies before they became household names. His rule is simple. I do not invest in what I do not understand. No blind celebrity investments just because other athletes were doing them. Walker & Company for health and beauty products stands for premium socks. Companies that solved real problems for real people. Many of these investments multiplied in value 10 times over. But here is what makes Andre different. He grew up in Springfield, Illinois, one of the few black families in his neighborhood. He learned early that black wealth attracts scrutiny. People watch how you spend. People judge what you own. People assume you cannot handle money because of the color of your skin. So Andre decided to build wealth that nobody could see. His mentor taught him something that changed his entire approach. Stack up $10 million and live off the interest. That becomes your income forever. Think about that. Instead of spending millions to look rich, Andre invested millions to stay rich forever. The interest from his investments now pays him without ever touching the principal. Generational wealth built by a black man who refused to perform success for people who expected him to fail. Number 2, Junior Bridgman. He earned modest NBA salaries during his career in the 1970s and 1980s. A solid player but not a superstar. But what he built after basketball turned him into one of the wealthiest former players alive. And it started with a decision that shocked everyone. While still an active NBA player, Junior Bridgman went to work at a Wendy's restaurant during the off-season. Not as a celebrity appearance, he actually worked there, flipping burgers, managing inventory, learning how the business ran. A black man who could have been golfing or vacationing chose to work the counter because he wanted to understand fast food from the ground floor. Think about how differently you understand a job after you have actually done it. Bridgman refused to be an ignorant investor. He put on a uniform and worked the counter in the grill and the drive-thru. His frugality was legendary. He saved his per diem travel allowance by eating free food in the media press rooms. A reporter spotted him doing this in 2014, standing at the press room buffet getting salad and corn, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, still eating the free food. He eventually owned over 150 Wendy's locations, plus Chili's restaurants and other operations. His empire generated hundreds of millions of dollars, more than his NBA career ever paid him. The black man who flipped burgers built a business worth more than basketball ever gave him. Number 1, Shaquille O'Neal. He earned $292 million in NBA salary alone. His net worth exceeds $400 million. Shaq is not a man who secretly lives like he is poor. He enjoys his wealth, his cars, his properties. But what puts him at number 1 is something more important than any spending habit. He teaches. Shaq has watched too many black teammates earn tens of millions and end up completely broke. He has seen the houses, the cars, the entourages, the bad investments, and he understood why it kept happening. Young black men given millions with no financial education, surrounded by family members who need help, surrounded by friends who expect generosity, surrounded by advisors who see them as prey. So Shaq decided to do something about it. His advice is called the 75% rule. Save 75% of everything you earn. Use the remaining 25% however you want. And if you are smart, save half of that too. Shaq invested in Google and Apple while still playing basketball. Those investments grew into a fortune that dwarfs his playing salary. But his greatest investment is in the next generation, teaching young black athletes the truth nobody told him. It is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep. 10 players, 10 stories, one truth. These black men faced pressures that could have destroyed their wealth. Family obligations, cultural expectations, predatory advisors, the constant demand to prove success through spending. They chose a different path. Kawhi with his truck, LeBron waiting for Wi-Fi, Giannis jogging to games, Duncan at Costco, Carmelo clipping coupons, Butler cutting cable, Burke on his budget, Iguodala building invisible wealth, Bridgman flipping burgers, Shaq teaching the next generation, all extremely rich, all living like they have very little. They are not cheap. They are free. Free from the performance of wealth that bankrupts 60% of their peers. If this changed how you see money, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Which player shocked you most? Tell us in the comments.